Hi, I'm Nancy Herman, former board member. I've been there since the beginning of the theater, and I'm here just to give a few tips from my years of experience. I know there are a lot of people who would like to get on stage. They've seen a show and they think, I can do that. So I'm going to give you a few hints about what you might do. First of all, you have a duty and responsibility to be the best that you could possibly be. First of all, by listening to the director. It's a good idea to read the script beforehand. Usually there are extra copies around that you can sign out. You could sign off if you want. Be prepared to devote a lot of time to your rehearsals and preparation for those rehearsals. So let's say you get a part. Now what? Well, the director is going to say, we're going to have a read-through on such and such a day. A read-through is when the cast all sits down in a circle and reads through the play for the first time. That's why it's called a read-through. And that gets everybody familiar with the other cast members. It's a lot of fun. When you get your script, I suggest that you use a highlighter, maybe a bright yellow, a bright green. Highlight your lines. And of course, as soon as you get that part, you begin to memorize. That's extremely important. At the end of each line of your script, you will see directions in parentheses. Those are suggested stage directions. However, your director may not like those directions. There may be a very large cast, or the set may be different, or the props may be different. So the director has the option of putting you where he or she wants you to be. So I suggest that you have a sharp pencil with a good eraser, because you're going to be changing those directions when the director says to. She may do it one way one day and change it the next day. So you have a personal preparation, which is to study and research the character you're playing. You can do that by rereading the play. Think about it, study it, and you'll pick up some hints. Not just your part, but everybody else's part too. So you ask yourself, now why does the character behave in a certain way, or what's his or her motivation? The more familiar you are with that play, the more this will become apparent. Your personal responsibility when you're on stage. If you're supposed to be talking to someone, look at them as if you weren't on stage. Well, sometimes they may stand upstage from you, which will force you to turn around and look up at them and give the audience a good view of the back of your head, which is really bad. So, but your director will correct that. So if they're speaking to you, you look at them, you respond to them as if you were in real life. Speak loudly, clearly, and they will yell at you to project, which means that from the gut, from the diaphragm, you push that out. You should be very careful about saying the vowels and the consonants clearly, so that you're not going to say Cam, you're going to say Rowan Kempf, which is a good name. Please do not have a big wad of gum in your mouth. Your director will make you spit it out anyway, so if your throat is dry, we have water available. One of the big bugaboos about doing a part is that the playwright spends lots and lots of time writing the play a certain way. You owe it to that playwright to speak the words exactly as they're written. It is a very bad thing to paraphrase or improvise, because that may throw others off their lines. I know that when it's hard for me to memorize, I admit that. So what I have to do is look at the lines preceding my lines and try to find a group of words or a vowel or a consonant that can trigger my reply. And then I mark those with a different color highlight. So if you paraphrase, even though it may be the same idea, you may throw actors off course. They're counting on those lines to be there exactly as they learn them. And they probably will memorize other people's parts too. So that's extremely important. Now, there may be a time, and you may experience this undoubtedly, when suddenly you're to say your line and there's nothing there, you are blank. And so you may have to try to cover for someone else, trigger them or something. Now, it happens. Not everyone has a skill to save a fellow actor when he or she draws a blank, drops a line. Other actors call this the deer in the headlight look. It's a kind of stare and silence mixed with sheer fright, and you may see that actor begin to perspire and faint and shake because they can't think of that line. So if it's possible, perhaps you can step in. It could be you the next time who drops your line, and you may want people around you who can save your line. Okay. Every cast, it's your responsibility to work so closely together so that the best possible performance for your audience is the outcome. You are part of an ensemble. You work closely together. You share laughs and jokes. That pulls your cast together. Your castmates are counting on you as you are counting on them. So if you have a good performance, you could step right up and share on the accolades at curtain call. But you also have to accept and acknowledge your share if it's a less than sterling performance. Now, your first role may not be the lead. It may only be a few lines or a walk-on, non-speaking part. But all of those parts are important. The golden rule in theater is there is no small part, only small actors. That's a good thing to remember. You should be realistic about the kinds of parts you're auditioning for. I'm going to give you a very embarrassing example. I love the music of South Pacific, and I love Bloody Mary's song about Valley High, and I could just see myself performing that. So I went to Mansfield Playhouse when they had auditions for South Pacific, and I stood up there and belted out Valley High. And when I left, I was so embarrassed because I thought, now how could I, who was at that time relatively skinny, with very, very white, pale skin and pure white hair, in what way could I be Bloody Mary? So I slinked away in defeat, but it didn't stop me from going back and trying other parts. That's what you have to do. So you have to be realistic. If you can't dance on your toes, don't audition for the part of a ballerina. Now that would just be stupid. So your director, though, will help decide where you best fit in the play. Remember that acting is a skill as well as an art. You can develop skills, and you can develop your artistic sense. And that's where being a part of a cast is so important. It's gratifying and a heck of a lot of fun. So let's say you didn't get the part your first part you auditioned for, or the second or the third. Are you going to give up? Heck no. You're going to go back and keep trying. There are not many good actors, or just bad actors, who haven't had to audition over and over and over again. It's a growth thing for you. Not getting a role could be a good experience. Makes you want to work harder. So, most directors at the end of audition will sincerely thank you and encourage you to try again. And each time you audition, you will be a little less nervous and a little more confident. And as you become confident, you may be rewarded with a terrific part in the next show and get other parts that follow, and they become maybe even bigger and more challenging. So, my advice to you is rise to the occasion, and as they say in showbiz, break a leg.